What is happening this week, Dad?
I've been asked to be on the panel for the Kyiv Jewellery School to judge some of their final pieces, and we're going to give it our best shot. We're not judges. Are you a judge?
No.
I'm not a judge.
No.
We're just mere goldsmiths and YouTube people that...
Oh, happy to help.
It's amazing to find out that people are watching these videos, and I'm humbled by it, to be honest with you.
Are you touched?
I'm touched. I really am. It's such a difficult thing to judge. I'm having a look and I'm just sort of commenting on these pieces, and at the end of the video I will tell you what my favorites are. There are stories attached to these pieces that have been sent in, and they are moving and they are beautiful. If you're watching a particular piece and you wanted to read up about what the creator, where it came from, where the inspiration came from, that's all going to be in the comments. And please do give these guys some love, because if you read the comments you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, my name is Yaku. This is a jewelry channel. Behind the camera is the Maya. We talk about the trade, we show some of the pieces that we manufacture, and evidently we judge some pieces from the Ukraine. Let me show you what we've got, and I'm going to run slowly through all of these. You guys are more than welcome, as I say, to make up your own mind which you think are the favorites. The guys from the Ukraine will be watching this video, and hopefully some of the people in my town, which is Henley-on-Thames in Oxfordshire, will be watching this as well, because it's a kind of cool connection, isn't it? Let me show you the entries. This is number one. It reveals something more than just a straightforward pendant. That shows that the designer has gone and thought about this a little bit further. It's got a mosaic inlay of mother of pearl on the inside, so there's a lot of texture in that. Pendant matches the chain.
Segmented chain, segmented mosaic, and then you've got the softness of the pendant.
The maker here really considered that you have one item and a secondary item being the chain becoming one thing. And this is so important because you could get it so wrong. If you were just going with a straightforward chain there and you had the size of this pendant, it would have overwhelmed the chain. It would have looked out of place, but they brought balance into it by bringing segments in. I also like the fact that it's textured the way it is. The gilding also gives it that sort of little bit of identity to it. Everything's nice and smooth, and then on top of it, it opens up to reveal this mosaic inlay of mother of pearl. Now the mother of pearl also works incredibly well because it is in itself a sort of a satin finish. So the whole piece has been finished in a satin feel, and that's pretty cool actually. They've used the right kind of chain. It's not a very thin chain that will break in between those things. I think that there's a lot of thought that went into this, and they've executed it pretty good. I like functional jewelry. I like the fact that it opens like that. The only thing that I would mention about this, if it was my workshop, and I hope you don't mind me doing so, where it's been flattened, where it's been burnished, I can see exactly how that mechanism works. My concern is if there's any trauma on the pendant this direction, you might find that that tears away. So I would go for a little bit of more of a substantial little bead at the top there. Rather make it slightly like a slight feature, and make sure that you've got some longevity on it. I know what it takes to put these things together. That is sort of an incredible task for somebody, it says here, with a year's work experience. Is that what it says?
Yeah.
You have a bright future ahead of you, I'll tell you that much. To space stones out like that takes effort and a lot of time. And this is why I'm saying endurance.
And also I think like you're working in negative. I have such respect for it.
That's a good point. You have to kind of keep, in one hand, you've got to keep the final product in mind, and at the same time you've got to follow through with this very symmetrical task. You can't be out ever so slightly. What happens is you take the entire work area and you excavate everything away from it where the stones would lie. So you're effectively dreaming up where the stones are going to lie. But this kind of ring means that you are taking away pretty much absolutely everything except for the tiny bits in between the stones themselves. And that's the only little piece of metal coming from the bottom, from the skeletal structure, that secures the stones at the top. This is quite a mean feat to finish a ring like this, and I do absolutely approve. You could just go ahead and carve this out of wax and cast it. But these pieces are made by hand. There's a lot of small detail that goes into these rings, and when you're working with silver and you're working with small details, it's difficult. It's not as difficult actually in platinum or as in gold, but silver itself requires so much heat all over the place. It's heat control. Like I say, I like the detail of it because there's a lot of small parts to it. I like the boldness and the concept of this piece, the fact that it's building that's been preserved in a way in a piece of jewelry. So here's my head. My head as a person that makes jewelry, I'm always like, it's got to be practical. So the little nylon string that the planets hang on bothered me initially, and then I looked at it again. And I looked at this final picture over here, and it just made all the sense in the world. We don't all wear jewelry that's supposed to be on us continuously. That won't last. But at the same time, for the right occasion, if this piece is worn, the fact that it's on those nylon strings does exactly what planets do. To me, this is just a playful, natural piece, and I like the way that it's been made. And I love the fact that they've used a torque. Makes me feel at home in a way, you know. It's got lovely colors to it again. Silver and those colors, they just work. And I think wearing this piece...
It'll be difficult not to talk about it.
I like the texture and I like the meaning behind this. I think the meaning in jewelry is absolutely entwined with what we do, and especially with work like this where it's an artist seeing something, choosing to put their time and love into something and creating something. There's a meaning behind it. And that meaning is half, I feel, in this specific case as well. I feel it has half of the value of what you're looking at. I like the size of the pendant. I like the texture that's been put onto it. And if you read the story and understand where this comes from, it's been copied from a painting, and it's a really good representation of that. Practically, what I want to point out is that where the chain runs through the item, with us dealing with jewelry that's over the years, we see something like that typically coming back because the chain has a resistance, and where it goes through, it's going to wear through. I would only recommend that perhaps behind the item itself is where I would have put a loop. I think you said that as
Half
well.
a loop, yeah.
Behind it, so that it presents a bit better, because I'm a little bit worried about where the chain goes through. And this is not for once or twice of wearing or whatever. This is like for over a year or 2 or 3 wearing. You might find you get some wear and tear.
You know what, this is one of my favorite pieces.
So let's talk about this one, Damaya. What do you think?
I've
got a smile on my face just looking at it. I mean, this is why I'm saying joy and optimism, because that's usually what you get when you're putting a whole bunch of different colors together. That's got that happy vibe. And this is why I'm saying that the design of the bangle overwhelms basic principles like shape. You're so bound by the stone is oval, so everything needs to be oval, or the stone is square, so everything needs to be square around it. But if you take stones like these and you just throw them into a design which is so strong, because this bangle overwhelms the shape of the stones completely. So the shape becomes the overwhelming part. And then you've got the ring as an attachment, which is a separate piece. But when you attach the ring to the bangle, it becomes one piece.
Yeah.
That's really well thought out, and I like it because it steps out of the norm. I think they got it right. Let's put a smile on my face.
And mine.
Maya.
I really like the madness of the different shapes and sizes of pearls. I think it's awesome.
You have to find balance within imbalance.
Yes! That's exactly it.
That's exactly it. Good choices of a cross. In this case, the green completely off the scale, away from the white.
Yeah.
You know, immediately grabs your attention, and that could have thrown the piece out completely, but by bringing the pearls into the pendant as well, they marry them together.
I'm a fan of religious iconography and symbolism.
I really want to see this worn because I think this piece is, it has a lot of impact. I particularly like the fact that there are only 2 drops, which are so accurately little blood drops, isn't it? 2 drops and pear-shaped stones set in a little collar, so they're going to be moving. It's very simplistic in its look. It's only a few wires, but then the shape formed out of it becomes so iconic. The thorns are outwards, so this is a wearable piece of jewelry, and I want to see it on somebody's head. I really do like it, and I like the fact that you can take something as simple as this and create a piece like that. You're leaning against something that is iconic, so you have a responsibility of presenting it. You know, it has to be presented in a certain way. This is something that has a religious overtone as well, so there's a respect, there's a lot that goes into something like that. And if you just used wires, it would have been one thing, but by twisting the wires in irregular ways like that, it sort of placed it into its design, its pain and its suffering and its all the wonderful connections that it has on the flip side of that.
Yeah, the faith and the rebirth. When I look at this, I feel the same as you, Dad.
This is even more simplistic. Now, simplicity is so dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, because the eye is drawn to every imperfection. So everything from the twist to the straightness. If it's only slightly out, there's nothing else that shares your eye's attention. You immediately see it. So it has to be spot on, and that's what makes simplicity so difficult. What I like about this piece is, first of all, every part of it, the fact that the prism is absolutely square, and the way that it's set, it's just hugging it. So
and you're almost using the world. The world.
You're using elements. Yeah. It's magic. This is a magical piece. You've got elements coming into this prism and throwing out different colors all over the place.
Yeah, I'd like to see like a video of this piece.
I'd love to see lights catching it while it's moving, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Contestant, please send us a picture.
And we'll share it.
And we'll share it. We'll share it as well. Send us a picture of this thing turning in sunlight. I would love to see that. Right, so I'm not looking at these pieces as, and I'm not going to break them down into, you know, the finest of categories. I'm going to go with the impact that it had with me when I saw it, and that's for me the type of jeweler that I am, the type of person that I am. I'm going to go with entry number 1 for number 3. Because of its shape and because of its style, it had that boom impact on it. And I think simplicity with the design, the mother of pearl, like everything about it. The second one I've got that really, I would say, grabbed my attention was number 9. I know it's a simple piece, but in that simplicity, great design. I really think that design, or the design behind it, or the person making it behind it, has some real potential. My winning entry, I would say, hands down, would be the crown, and that's because it had such an impact on me. All the pieces are obviously amazing. The ring with all the set work going around it, that is incredible. It's incredible, is all I can say. The standard of work from this particular school, with Alexander as your teacher, you're doing something right. The crown had an impact on me. It's because of the color. I might be biased. I like that kind of thing. I'll repeat myself. I need to see it worn. Send videos over. What did you think? It's just difficult to do this. Please keep in mind, we are not judges. We're going to go with personal impact over here. I think the crown did it for me. I think you've chosen a good theme. I think you've chosen a good material base, and I think the placement of those little drops are just perfect. They're not overwhelming, just the two. Absolutely perfect. Alexander, you're doing a great job. Thank you very much for asking us to do this. I am impressed with what you are doing in the Ukraine, and good luck to all of you. Give some love by putting it in the comments which you feel your favorite pieces are. Thank you for watching the video as per usual to the end. Please like, subscribe, bell icon, you know where the love lies, and we will see you next week. Do popatrzenia.